Yo, 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 yo. What's up, y'all? Kind of a rough way to start a show here, but just having some weird. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me at all? Check one, check one. Okay. Some reason I wasn't getting any feed coming back from that, so just making sure I'm good. Um, Guys, what's up? It's none other than Mr. Darnell Jordan of S Town Productions coming at y'all with another video trying to hopefully help y'all in the audio industry and stuff with different tech, assist you with some things today. So, what I got on the docket is the following. I'm going to show you how to connect the X32, sorry, excuse me, the X Touch, Behringer X Touch, and set it up to where you can use it via Ethernet or wireless on Windows 10. Now, Behringer has come up with a video that talks a little bit about how they do it. Excuse me, how they do it wireless. How they do it via Mac. I didn't see anything via Windows, but it's a very quick video. But I want to kind of show you two different things that we can talk about with this. So, without further ado, let me scan this over and bring this down so you guys can see what I'm dealing with here. So obviously this is the Behringer X Touch. Retails right now at about I think $599 or it's around about $500 or $600 for this. I'm going to show you how we can connect it through different sources today. Okay, I'm going to go through network, so it's going to be different, and I'm going to show you how I can use something like this. This is a Wi-Fi repeater bridge. This is connected to the back of the X Touch via Ethernet. So you would hook up to the back of that through the Ethernet port that they have on the back of this, and then you can use the other source for that. There is a link to how to do setup for it. If you guys want to do it this way, you could just use it via straight network cable too. But if you want to do something with wireless, and I'll show you how to do that, you can connect that via. There's a video description in the video link in the description that leads you either to the video where they show you how to do the setup and then how much you can get the price point. That cost me roughly about, I don't know, $25, $30, I think. I think I went and bought two of these. So I can use one for this and use one for my X32 rack. So that's how you can set up for this. So this is how I'm going to talk a little bit about how we set it up for this X Touch and hook it up. So there's an Ethernet port in the back of the X Touch that seems, for the most part, seems pretty simple. It shouldn't be too difficult. It should be easier for you guys to test out. I'm also going to tell you guys that you guys have to download, and I'll add it in the description later too, RTP MIDI, which is literally just like the network session for using MIDI via network or Ethernet or any Wi-Fi connection. Um, this is something that's automatically implemented in Mac. You have to download something for Windows, but it's absolutely free, so you'll be able to use it, and it looks a little bit like this. So this is RTP MIDI that you can use, and we'll go into a quick little setup and how we'll go into setting that up. So first thing I need to do is go over to my Behringer X Touch and hold the first encoder here, which would be the first select button on the first channel, and hold it while pressing the on switch on the back. Okay. Now we got to get into the meat and the potatoes of the part that's very, very important. So I'm going to slide on over here and zoom into these areas. Very good. Oops. Exit. All right. Let me scale that back a little bit. Cool. All right. So let me go and move this out the way real quick. So first thing you want to notice is for this to work with majority of DAWs, again, we're talking about Windows here, all right? We're going to go to Mac and Control. I'm going to show you how to do it in Ableton and in Studio One. You only have to do this once, and then you can use it for for any DAW that you set up for. So you're going to go to Mackie Control. You want to set it up, the IFC to network. And you want the mode to be master mode, and your slave port, which should match the same slave port that you would have right, right here at the end there. So you can see where mine is. It says 5004, so I'll put 5004. And then after I do that, I'm going to turn this network encoder knob here. I like to use DHCP on to make sure that, it just does an automatic connect. By the way, as I'm doing this, this is flashing right now. So as soon as I say okay and run, this will turn green. I have to go to DHCP on, and then I have to go over one more time. I think it's, so it's mode, one knob over is slave IP. So your slave IP should be the same IP address of the device that you're setting up for. So I'm trying to set this up to connect to my laptop. So right now you'll see 10.0.0.164, and you can find yours right on the bottom of here, 10.0.0.164 for mine. And I'll show you a little bit of how we'll go through about this in just a second. Actually, I'll go through it right now. So if I go up and pull up RTP MIDI, you're gonna go in here and add a session. The session will probably go by your name, who you may connect to online. You click anyone. You select the box, make sure it is running. Live routings, you won't have that option compared to what they had before. Now, you will have it in the DAW, which I'll talk about later. So this is all you'll have to do. Is literally, once you open it up, my desktop or whatever your computer name is, it will probably show up. Your directory is blank for now. Your participants are blank for now until I make the connection. So 5004, that's that, again, that's that port I was talking about earlier, your slave port, DHCP on, right? And then here is the IP address and then the port here, right? So after that, we go and scale back off of this. As soon as I know that this is connected, I'm going to press select. Once I press select, it's going to take a minute for it to load. As it's trying to find the IP, you notice that now my wireless bridge routing is going green to try to look for a connection, and now it's going blank. So then I go back and check, make sure that it's on, and then I'll go on RTP MIDI. You'll see right here, right at the bottom there, you'll see X-Touch, right? So here's your X-Touch. Latency is about 2 milliseconds, which isn't a big deal. Sometimes it'll scale up, scale down, depending on how your network works. Mine is on wireless. If you put it on straight Ethernet to your Wi-Fi router, it'll probably make it a lot easier to use. Okay, so like I said, it's going to fluctuate from time to time. So there is your latency here, and now we know that it's automatically connected. And that's pretty much the gist of how to do the setup part for this. It's actually pretty simple to do. Main thing that you have to worry about, as I'm trying to set this back up here, the main thing you really have to worry about when setting this up, mostly is just trying to make sure that you have the right source, the right IP address, the right slave address. There's a manual mode for that. If you want to get into that, check out Behringer's channel, which talks about that in better detail than I will. But hopefully that helped out a little bit. So let's get to the next step here, which we will go to. We're going to pull up Studio One. So I'll pull my phone out because I want to do wireless connectivity here. And we will. Yep. Alrighty. As I set this up, we can turn off RTP MIDI off, and here's that. And here is the Studio One preset. So here's the Studio One preset. We're going to start with Studio One. I'm going to go over to external devices. Okay. So once I go to the external devices, you want to check a couple things here. Obviously, you got to set up your Mackie control, right? So for you to set up the Mackie control, you're going to select the X-Touch. Okay. Once you select the X-Touch, is there XUSB MIDI yet? I might think about that later. Okay. So here's the you'll see that I have receive and send to is desktop and then the name of it. So that's what's the name of the same network that we talked about before. So if I want to set this up from scratch, say we get rid of this. I'm going to restart this again. I'm going to select add. I'm going to go to scroll over to where it says Mackie, go to control. And I'm doing this in Mackie MC mode and not Huey. As soon as I go to there, I receive from. I'm going to select desktop. And then out of desktop or whatever the name of yours is. I believe you can change it later. Depends on what the name of your device is. You're going to go there. You're going to select OK. And I don't know if you heard. You can hear that the sliders came up. And I'm going to press OK for that. And then there you have it. So I have now the capabilities of, Now I have the capabilities of going on and off, doing the same parameters that I would use via USB, right? So which is the good benefit, right? Because that's where we really wanted to aim for, is just kind of have capability just going on and off. Okay. Moving faders, I still have control of moving faders, still have control of all my main controls that I usually have before. It's just now I'm just running it wirelessly or via Ethernet rather than running it via USB. This will help a lot of people for people who want to save USB ports on their computer and they rather just do it via network. It makes it a lot easier for them. You probably have to just allow it to break through that firewall. If you have a firewall, to just give them that access to access that, it'll make it a lot easier to do. But again, you can see it was that simple going through there. So next up, I'm gonna shut this down and we're gonna open up the same settings in live, and I'm going to show you how you can set this up in live as well. Again, very simple, not too complex of setup here. Okay, so you can see how it you can hear how it kind of switched back over. Here's the Ableton preset, control, and that opens up my preferences. I'm going to select the control surface will be Mackie control. As you can see right here, again, the same desktop in and out. I can go to any of my setups here and go to, let's see, boom. I'll select this song. This is the song I've had. Takes a second, obviously, to load up. Comes right back up. Here's all your scribble strips. Still have access to those ports. Solo still works. And I'm still able to go through and add reverb or any effect, select that effect, and still make adjustments to it at any given point in time. And I can still go back and forth. Let's say I want to go through the dry wet signal. Here, I'm going to go.
Baby, I'm baking on it. Baby, I'm baking on it. Baby, I'm baking
Flip the fades. Still have the same effects here.
Baby, I'm baking on it.
So again, your latency is going to depend on probably the distance between you and the network, how great your connection is via Wi-Fi. But remember, everything is local. It's not running over the actual internet. It's just running through the Ethernet. So just keep in mind of that when you go through those ports. Okay. Anything else I can show you real quick? You can still do this. We can do it in FL Studio real quick. I think that'll probably be a good idea. I'm gonna pull up FL Studio. This is version 12. Now this one's not set up yet to run via via network yet, but it should be a very simple process in doing that. So for me to do that, I have to go over and we're going to pull this back up. I'm going to go to F9. Oh, sorry. We're going to go to F11. That'll pull up that. Here's the MIDI. So the MIDI is here. So here's that port again I was talking about. This is going to be, okay, so how do we do this last time here? So I got to change this to generic, from generic controller to Mackie control. So for me to go through that, I have to go and scroll down. Mackie control universal. Enable it. I'm going to set this as port 1. Actually, I'm going to set this as port 2. I'm going to send the master port to port 2. So send master sync. And now I have my start and stop again. I can go over to F9, I believe it is. For some reason, we don't have F9 here, so obviously it wouldn't work. I'm not entirely sure how most of the settings work in here. But again, here's all my setups, controls. Works perfectly fine. Still can go through and do my scribble strips here and change all my settings. And yeah, that's pretty much that easy. All right. Last thing I can go through, which I think it might be important, I'm going to show you real quick how they do setup for running it through the Behringer X32. That way you don't have to go back and forth in between two sections. So here's an easy way to do it. Usually what you'll have to do is set this to X control and have to set it up that way. If you're running the computer, you can probably bypass that and use the X edit here while controlling this with the Ethernet or with the wireless. This is the first time I'm trying this, so hopefully this works. So we're gonna go to setup here at the top. Once you get the setup here, we're gonna go over to MIDI control. We're gonna go to MIDI control. I'm choosing network session 1 for both of these, as that is the thing that's being set over from the RTP MIDI. And I'm gonna press enable. I think that's incorrect. But what is that running? That's interesting. I never seen that before. Ah, here we go. All right, it had to reset. Okay, so here's desktop. If you get that, you must be doing something right. So let's try it again. So here's the desktop. Here's enable. Boom. Here's all the channels. Let's get sent over. Only thing you won't have that's different from this and the other channels is you won't, for some strange reason, I think you won't have the scribble strips colored in comparison to the X control versions of these, but you'll still have all the names. So you literally have what channels they are and then what you have them labeled as under. So I have them all controlled to where I'm like, all right, I want to run all these devices at any given point in time. And it has all my controls here. Okay. So if I mute it, you can see that I muted it on the screen. I can select my keyboards here. All right. You probably may or may not be able to hear that. Depends on how I have it set up. There's my mutes for that. I can solo sections if I need to really solo for the headphones, which I really don't need to. And again, stuff with PC. I can always go through and select. All right. So here's all my effects channels here. And changing them. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay, so 5 through 8, 1 through 4, and I still have, plenty of space to do any type of changes that I like to do, excuse me. And then we'll talk. I've talked a lot about this before. There's another video that talks about how you can use the effects for that. I can still do. Here's some metering. Here's part of the setup here. Monitor, recorder. Here's the user channel. right? Not entirely sure how they do. And I'll still have to figure out exactly how the routing is. The routing's a little bit different here compared to how they do them in the other setup. But as far as like, all right, if I want to change certain things, but this is really just controlling the X32 edit to run through that. So there might not be certain buttons. For an example, like I don't think there's a dedicated button. There is a dedicated EQ. The dedicated sends that's in here is set through the effects sends, I believe. Let's see. Yep, pre EQ, and I think it's all channel. I think it's all channel specific too. So if I want to go to bus 1, I'll have to figure out a way how to do sends for that. But you still have control for that. So there should be another video maybe I'll probably put up where we talk a little bit more about how to set that up. But for the most part, seems that should be that simple to fully understand that you can go and add all those channels in there. So basically, this is how you're able to run it wirelessly with a Wi-Fi repeater or Ethernet with your X Touch. And again, it's literally just as simple as going into the back of here that goes into the Ethernet port and plugging it into a wireless repeater or any wireless router to have that set up, and you can have a great ecosystem and use that without having to go back and forth. So thank you guys. Hopefully that helped all of you in any way, shape, or form in this video. If you guys have any questions, please leave comments, questions. Please leave questions, comments, and concerns in the comment sections on the Facebook, Twitter. If you guys are on Twitch, put it on Twitch too, YouTube. And again, ManyLink.co/@DJ S-Town Productions, S-Town Productions on Facebook and Instagram. Excuse me, I haven't really used Twitter. There is a section to my Twitter page that's on that ManyLink, so you can check it out there. It is at DJordanSTP. You can check that out there. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully that gave you guys a lot of information that can help you out in just making this a lot simpler system to use to go back and forth and figure those things out for to kind of save some USB space and not overload your USB ports, because I'm using like a bunch of them. That's basically the main reason I did that. And then using MIDI controller with another device to kind of save on that. So hopefully that'll save you some time and make your life a lot easier. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's your boy Donald Jordan at S-Town Productions. Speak everything into existence. Black Lives Matter. Thank y'all so much. Peace out. Later.